remember earlier this week when Visa bought a CryptoPunk for a bunch of money? All right, well, this whole institutional NFT thing seems to be really gathering pace. Budweiser USA made waves last night on Twitter when it changed its avatar to a goofy little rocket ship after purchasing that NFT for 8 ETH, according to blockchain data. They also bought the beer.eth domain name as they get ready to launch into the NFT universe, according to an Anheuser-Busch InBev spokesperson. So that is right there, the OpenSea profile of the beer.eth domain. You'll notice that there's a few penises, there's a crypto dick butt. That happens when that happens when Ethereum addresses are published to the internet. And hey, it's a permissionless system. You can send that address anything that you want. So I was looking at this
family show, Zach.
Sorry, I just say it like it is. It's the name of the project, okay? Anyway, but so this happened last night. I was perusing that address. I thought it was pretty funny. You know, there's the ENS domains. There's that NFT right there. There's a couple other ones. I think most of them were gifted to that address. But it's been interesting to see the next wave in this fast-moving institutional NFT moment. I'm going to toss this to Will. What's your take on Budweiser hopping in here?
No, I got a question right back for you. Is Budweiser really an institution? Like Visa seems to be.
Yeah, dude. It's like a Fortune, like a Fortune 100.
Yeah.
It's a huge company. It's a massive company. And they have an NFT on their balance sheet right now.
Don't throw shade at
They control something like 80% of the
just wondering, it's like an institution. What is an institution?
It's an institution. It's an institution. It's a giant company. Yeah.
King of beer since
Controls
1876,
slamming
Will,
me right
obviously.
I'm just wondering, like, what is an institution? We need to like decide what that
beer.
means. Just because it's a big company.
Well, let's not even get into what is a computer.
Like
we can go, how
cornerstone
deep
of
do you want to go with this?
Will, are you even drinking age?
Exactly.
What is a broker?
I'm gluten free. This doesn't apply to me at all. I can't even drink beer.
Free. It's true. It's true.
Well, this is exactly where this conversation was meant to
That's
go.
what I
jump
thought.
in here.
Just wondering.
So much shade. All right, so it's really interesting that you have all these companies creating NFTs, because I think NFTs are going to become so normalized in the future that we're going to look back and be like, why did I buy a Budweiser one, right? Like, if you think about how many people are rushing out to buy Budweiser merchandise from their store, you know, they're not paying like tens of thousands of dollars to go out and get that sticker or that T-shirt or whatever, yet they are going out to get these digital, you know, merchandise that these companies are now coming out with. I honestly think that we're going to turn around and be like, whoa, we paid like huge amounts of money to get these things. Like, I mean, maybe it'll be like, these are the early ones, so they become collector's items or whatever, and so they have more value, and maybe there's a market for that. But I just see that, you know, we're getting so excited every time one of these companies comes out with one of these things. And I think in the future, NFTs, I mean, there's a place for scarce digital assets and unique digital assets and all of this, and we're living in the digital world, so obviously more of this stuff's going to move into the digital form, and it's just going to become so normalized that these things are just going to be everywhere, and like an NFT isn't going to be so special, like we're going to be talking about it in every episode. I don't know. Like, Ben, what are your thoughts on all of that and how special these things are that you know keep cropping up and all these new companies that keep getting involved?
I mean, they're as special as what people want to pay for them, right? That's sort of what the market's setting all these weird parameters. And so, you know, I think like we've talked about, you know, we talked about Beeple, right? That's like $69 million. Like most NFTs are not selling for that. And I think, yeah, we're going to see them be a lot more accessible at a lot lower price point. Like Budweiser buying an NFT is, you know, they can pay whatever they want, 8 ETH, like $25,000, right? But, you know, what people are going to pay for like, you know, their own produced NFTs, if that's the way they go, Naomi, you kind of like alluded to that, then I think it's going to be along the lines of like what a t-shirt would cost, right? People aren't going to be, you know, paying gas fees, spending their hard-earned crypto on exorbitant things just for sort of like the social aspect of it, which is really, I guess, the only reason you would buy Budweiser merch for the most part. For me, what's more interesting is the ENS name. Like, I think that's really interesting because for the most part, that shows like a commercial sensibility to move into like Web 3.0 in an interesting way. And, you know, the ENS domain names are meant to be, you know, machine readable versions of wallet addresses, right? Like in the same way that when I type in, you know, google.com or something, that's like an IP address, but a DNS resolves that and sends me to the proper thing. So I'm not having to read a string of like alphanumeric characters. And I'm going to be really curious to see what other corporations start to purchase those, because that is sort of the fundamental layer of creating a more immutable web. And I think that is the really interesting thing here, as opposed to the NFTs.
Get to squatting, folks. Buy up those .eth domains. Get out there. Let's see what happens. Okay, I
And
think
then
we're gonna
resell
leave it
them to
there.
corporations.
There you go. Resell them to corporations. Rinse, repeat. You know, we saw institutional Bitcoin, Mass Mutual, Tesla put some Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Now we're seeing Visa and Budweiser do the same for NFTs. To your institution question a bit earlier on, Will.